Jesus. What is going on with that face? Holy crap. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight on the Tundra Nation, we can see into Hypo's soul. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tundra Nation live stream episode number 12, the show that looks like your face after you didn't get a hold of one of those new PSA AK-74s.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for tuning in tonight, guys. We it wouldn't be a Tundra stream, right? It wouldn't be a Tundra stream if we didn't have some wild shit happening. As I'm getting everything set up in the background, Hypo, call it. Who got it?
Brian.
Oh, that is correct. Yes, he got it tonight, boys. Never seen somebody be so good at something so worthless. Brian is here saying first. Dickie B saying wee. Hold on, let me I don't have one queued up for that. Dang. Let's see. Dickie B's up. Noob Crastinator says first. Unfortunately, Noob, not according to my screen. Sarge 930 says hello there. General. Oh, hold on.
General Kenobi.
That wasn't bad.
That wasn't bad. Brian, you shut your whore mouth. I don't cheat.
The better looking of the Willets is here, as well as Crazy Eyes and Joseph, of course. React 942 is in the house. What's up, React? Meatball 150 saying Leroy Jenkins. Damian Strebel's here. He says here. Operator Tony saying don't forget to hit that like button. I agree with Operator Tony. Tony, thanks for plugging that. Mike saying hey. Brother Panda says, is this the Tundra Nation weekly stream? You are correct, Brother Panda. This is live and it's a disaster. I believe the title of the stream is the Tundra Nation episode 12, Almost Famous, Definitely Idiots. Yep. it's a good way of
couldn't be more true.
Good way of describing us. Big Fun says yeet yeet. Oh, sorry, there's three. That was for you, Big Fun. It says the Yank Me Marshall is here. Yikes. We gotta use that in a joke. Noob Crastinator says, oh well, I tried. Episode 12, by the way. Hope everyone's having a great. Oh, did I not? Damn it. Did I not change the episode number? I probably didn't. Pew Pew Park, given
episode dot. There's no episode.
It's interpretive, okay? It's interpretive. We'll leave it up to you. General Kenobi, empty-headed gamer says, of course. Let's see. Crazy Eyes dropping in. He's saying, what's everyone sipping on tonight? I've got myself some 2 Gingers whiskey, and Hypo is classing this bitch up with the Glenlivet 12 single malt. Is that the Cherry Cat? No, that's the, I can't remember which one that is.
Double Oak.
Double Oak, that's what it is.
It's booze.
Yeah, it's booze. All right, where did we leave off? We got Mark Linneman saying, hey, hi, how are you? Hey, hi, how are you? Wait, we're doing good, Mark. And
hey, how are you?
Hey there, hi there, ho there. We're doing great, Mark, and I hope the same can be said for you.
Yeah. Wanted to do the dwarf. How are you?
How are you? Let's see, who else do we got in the house? Joshua Olvey, I believe. Oh yeah, it's our buddy Josh. Josh, I'm sorry I still haven't sent that light out. We're gonna probably get on it this week, so expect something in the mail here hopefully soon. Josh is saying hey to Tony. We got Tranquil the Cat. My body is ready for some Tundra Nation. Creepy, but we'll allow it and accommodate. Precision Holsters, our good buddy Scott is here. Hey Scott, let's get on a closed circuit at some point in time this week and talk some business. I got some stuff I want to discuss with you, maybe about doing what we talked about earlier. William Cooper said canceled the gator hunting tonight, but now I get to watch Tundra Nation live, so it's not a complete loss. That is fantastic. I'm glad we could slightly recover some of what you were, some of the enjoyment you were going to experience tonight. JBox702 saying, "What's up, everybody? Just got to put 250 rounds through my new 10-inch or 10.5-inch AR." We haven't used that joke in a while. Oh yeah. So what he's essentially saying is now he needs to take out a second mortgage on his house. Brother Panda saying prayers to all the guys still convincing people that he put 100k rounds through his AK without changing any parts. Yeah. Let's see, who else do we got? Anybody else? Mark Spivey is saying hey to y'all. Mark Spivey, I love you long time. Lag Demon's in the house. He says, what's up, nation? Hit that thumbs up button. That's right, we got to do that. David Underwood saying hello, Tundra Nation, all from the Ozarks, the show me state. Let's see. And may the moonshine be with you as it is with me on this stormy night. Hopefully the weather doesn't take too much of a hold of you, especially in your drunken state. But hey, wish you the best, buddy, and thanks for the shout out. Semper is saying, don't worry, be happy. I agree. I definitely agree. Ben W said, made it in time. That's outstanding. We're happy to have you here, Ben. We got actually a fair few people in here tonight. I'm seeing a lot of different names. This is fantastic. Sorry if I miss you, by the way. If you guys want to increase your chance of me seeing your message, make sure to use the @TundraNation tag so it shows up orange for me, and that's a really easy way. Boogbrand is in the house. He says, I'm trying to find the least invasive way to slip into a coma right now. I don't want to play levels 9 to 12 of Jumanji. Oh god. Ranger N7X Rangers says, I made it. Welcome, Ranger. And I think from there we'll go. TGK13 says definitely to somebody. Richard Olson, of course, is in the house, and we'll power through the rest of this. Oh, here's let's see. I'm wondering if M.I. Evans is also MK Evans. If it is, closed circuit to you, buddy. We still got room. All you have to do is jump into the Discord and hop into any voice channel, unless you can specifically find us in the Tundra stream channel. You should be able to join it, and then we'll kind of walk you through from there and get you on the show tonight. But yeah, guys, welcome, like I said, to episode number 12 of the Tundra Nation. Bulldog says, at Tundra Nation, Moses here, and I ain't got no claws because Germany and no alcohol. Big bummer there, bud. Go get yourself a good beer, you know? But hey, if you can't drink, you can't drink. That kind of sucks, but them's the bricks, right? Yeah, episode number 12, because it's not in the title. We are here. We are live. We're going to have a grand old time. And before we get too far into the show, party on, Garth.
Party on, Wayne.
God damn right. Still one of the greatest movies of all time. And we will, we should add in, I think we should add in more just like random, like throwback quotes.
I like it.
I don't know. I just feel like I need more of it in my life. But tonight we got a spicy one for you, boys and girl. It's gonna be a bit of a different show. We're gonna be, well, a lot of people have been asking my opinion on the Wisconsin stuff, and I'll be giving that to you tonight. So it might get a little heavy, it might get a little wild and crazy, and you'll definitely hear me speak out of my ass more than once. What I will ask of you guys is that when we get to that portion of the show, keep it civil. Okay, somebody says something you don't agree with, don't jump down their fucking throat, and don't be disrespectful. I don't want to have to ban anybody because I will, and you will be, oh, hold on. I'll be essentially, is it this one? Hold on. Be gone, fuck! Yep, so that's essentially what I'll be doing tonight. And if you hear me, like, instead of calling people out, I'll just start, like, spamming that as a warning that somebody's about to be yeeted. So if you hear that, everybody calm the fuck down. In the meantime, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping tonight, unless Hypo, you want to start off with anything? You have anything that you want to start off with?
Well, I want to talk about this comment that I just read, which it emulates my thoughts completely, which is unless Wisconsin makes pepper jack cheese, their cheese is inferior. How was that for spicy? Thanks, Pew Pew Park.
Jeez, you know what? That is actually, that's kind of solid, man. I feel like my life has been changed. That it?
Yeah.
You got nothing else?
Yeah.
Sweet.
No. I'm good right now.
Okie doke. So housekeeping tonight, guys. Thank you, like I said, for joining the channel and being here. If you guys are unfamiliar, the main channel is Tundra Tactical. This is the Tundra Nation live stream, a spin-off of Tundra Tactical, where we do our live show every week. I know that we got a lot of new people here, so that's fantastic. Thank you guys for joining up on the Discord, and if you want to support the channel in any way, that is a fantastic way of kind of getting in that entry-level support, is jumping into the Discord. Doesn't cost you a dime. And it's essentially a gigantic shit show of fun. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You get to hang out with over 1,000 people of the Tundra Nation. We have a good active community on there, and yeah, it's a damn fun time. You get to play games with me, occasionally Hypo, some of the other moderator team, or some of the mod team for the Tundra Nation here. And yeah, if you ever want to come on and say hi, I would encourage you to go ahead and do so now. You can follow the link in the description below, or the link that Operator Tony is periodically posting in the chat. If you want to make that next step, and I would really appreciate it if you do, because YouTube, they got a bone to pick with me apparently, because the demonetization war continues, and I can no longer I know I can no longer. They won't let me contest the demonetizations anymore. They've taken away my ability to do that. So they're just randomly going through and demonetizing all of our videos. So we need you guys' support. If you guys have enjoyed Tundra Tactical for a while now, I would ask. I'll do the Bernie Sanders. I'm once again asking for your support. Because that's essentially what this is just a giant beg for money to keep everything going and up and running. As you guys know, I do not have a day job. I do this full time for you guys, getting videos put out, and I would really, really appreciate it if you guys have enjoyed the show to maybe give a little bit back. You can do that in one of two ways. You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Tundra Tactical, or the preferred way is the word I was looking for there, using PayPal with the email address tyler@tundratactical.com. Once again, that's tyler@tundratactical.com. How's that for a radio voice?
Love it.
This
me wiggle in my seat.
Dude, this mic has the most ridiculous proximity effect.
It does.
I love it. I mean, this is hello. It's the best. I love this thing. One of the goodbyes. I just got a message from MK. He says I'm gonna try it next time. I'm too intoxicated to get this right now. Understandable, buddy. Hopefully you enjoy the show. MK was going to be a guest on tonight, but unfortunately that does not look like it's going to happen. We'll get him on next time, though. Let's see. Housekeeping, I think, is pretty much done. That's all I got for you guys. Let's dive right into Hypo's Hot Takes. Hypoluxia takes, or this is the segment of the show where Hypoluxia takes over for a minute or two, poses a question to you and me, and we get to discuss it and answer it all together. Hypo, take it away, buddy.
All right. You know, I told you what I was going to talk about first, but you know, I don't feel like tonight's the right night for that.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think we'll
honestly,
save that for another night.
Honestly, I want you.
Heavy already.
I want you to do it because it kind of echoes my sentiment from earlier, and
okay.
You know, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is fairness, right? Keeping everybody in the loop, and this is a great way to reach people that might have missed the messages in Discord earlier. So keep it light, keep it simple, and then we'll roll through this one quick and move on into Hypo's Hot Takes.
Sounds good, and I guess it kind of provides a little bit of transparency for what we're doing. And there's been a lot of contention in the Discord related to posting of memes that are related to what's happened in Wisconsin currently. And kind of as a group of mods, we decided that we don't want to allow that right now. That it's really probably mostly inappropriate just for the fact that we don't have all the information. And it kind of, it's
divisive.
It is very divisive, and it puts kind of a glamorizing on what had actually happened, which was terrible. It was loss of life, and not only in the instance where people actually lost their life, but also in a young man who probably will never be the same again. So we kind of made a community effort to stop people from doing that, and asked nicely at first. So the first night or so, we said, please don't, please stop, remove posts, gave warnings. People continued. We started banning immediately after that because we decided it was just nobody was listening. All these people were just continuing to push, and you were in the loop on all this as well. You know what was going on. And eventually we wound up, I think we banned a good 6-7 people.
Yeah, that's a big day for us. We don't normally have to ban people.
That was crazy. Yeah, the last time we had that happen was shortly after another server had gone meltdown, and we got a lot of overflow from rejects and refugees. And a few of those people that came from there actually stuck around and turned out to be fantastic fucking community members.
They did.
Some we love very much. It's the people that we want around that are like that, and the people that respect the opinions of the entire server. I know that there was a big issue with how it was handled, and how abrupt and how forceful the mods had started to remove people. And that was the biggest question about that was, why are these things not voted upon by the entirety of the community? And the reason that it's not as in your face is because the mod team is a good sample of the actual community. It's not just a bunch of guys that are
you mind if I
best
field this
friends.
one?
Please.
All right, so I handpicked each and every single one of these moderators as people that I trust to represent you guys. And not just represent you guys, their first primary responsibility, the directive that they have from me, is to keep this just a fun place to be. My goal with Discord is to have it just be a place where people can chill out. It doesn't have to be about guns all the time. It doesn't have to be about the gun culture all the time. It just needs to be a place where you can go and have a good time. And while I understand the importance of, you know, being able to share and discuss topics related to events like this, which is totally fine, by the way, like you can absolutely discuss this stuff. The memes that we're seeing, they're spicy. They're spicy, and once again,
They're spicy and somewhat tasteless.
Yeah, it's just not the right spot to do it, just because it takes,
especially not the right time.
Yeah, it just takes away from the fun of everyone else. It makes certain people feel uncomfortable, and we don't want that here. We want it to be a place where just everyone can hang out and be cool and have a good time. You know, play some games, talk some guns, talk some other shit, share pictures of their dogs. You know, just like stupid fun stuff. But when we get into the super heavy things like we're going to get into tonight, it's kind of walking a dangerous line, and we need to be a little bit more aggressive with our policing of the rules. And generally speaking, I don't endorse the no warning bans. So unless you do something like really dumb, there's generally at least one warning given, and if you don't follow that, chances are you're putting yourself in hot water. So it's on you guys. It's
in the instances of people that were removed, there was unfortunately multiple warnings through a course of from when they had joined, where kind of this all came to a head.
A very simple answer. Whose question was it?
It was. I'm not going to specifically say, but there was a few members that had kind of voiced their opinion about. So
here's
and that's totally fine too.
Here's the very simple answer to that question. It's going to sound a little tyrannical and everything, but you know, it's my server. I get to decide what goes in and what comes out of this server. And I trust these guys. We have a pretty big mod team for our server size, and like Hypo said, they're a good sampling of all you guys. Everybody here that was a mod started off as just a normal member. They know the bits. They know the gig just as good, if not better, than everyone else here. So know that they have my trust. And when we discuss stuff like this, if you get the warning, first of all, we've had instances where certain things have been done somewhat unprofessionally from the leadership team here. If that happens, reach out and we'll make it right. Yeah, I promise you. Like, we're going to be fair. We're not, you know, if one of the moderators is being a douche, reach out and we'll fix it. We'll address it with the mod, and we'll make it better. But yeah, how are we considered adults? Ranger says, well, we can be if we want to, when it comes to the serious stuff. But you guys, you know, the people in the Discord, feel free to talk to the moderators. They're not unreachable. And, you know, if you have a grievance, or if you have something, you know, like you don't agree with what's going on in terms of rule enforcement, reach out to one of us, and we'll be happy to open up a solid dialogue in a DM about it, and, you know, make sure that at least you feel like you've been heard. You might not change anything, you might, but at least, you know, someone was willing to listen, and that's kind of the precedent.
Yeah, and again, with transparency in mind, a lot of these things, a lot of the rules that we came up with were either reactionary to something that had happened really, really poorly, really bad situations, or after a lot of debate and argument, and a lot of, sadly, I guess it's good though, is there's quite a bit of disagreement in our mod channel and our mod chat. We do disagree on things pretty heavily.
Don't I know it?
Yeah, and you got to listen to that shit. So do I. And then they come to us and they're like, "Hey, Tyler's poking me in the ear. Make him stop. He's breathing my air. I can't do anything. It's this fucking server." All right,
let's bounce into the hot take for the evening, Hypo. What do you got for us this fine Saturday night?
You teasered it. The AK-74 from PSA.
Hey, is there anybody out there in Tundra Nation land that actually got a hold of one? We'll wait for that. Before we dive too far into Hypo's hot takes, we have our extra special guest appearance for the evening, Little Miss Ellie Bean, fresh back.
Ellie and I were playing on YouTube.
Ooh, she's not streaming now.
Nope, fresh back from the lake, up on vacation here. And Ellie Bean, look at yourself. Look, it's a little baby. Yeah, say hello. Hello, Tundra Nation.
Ignore the rash on her leg.
Yeah.
It's the heat rash. Don't worry.
Yep. So
Thing.
she spent the entire week up at the lake. She got to go swimming a couple of times, and she's done something that even I have not been able to do yet. She got to take a dip in the headwaters of the Mississippi River on Lake Itasca.
Ooh.
So she is now an official Minnesotan. She spent a week up at the lake, and she went swimming in Itasca, which is a pretty sweet thing, all things considered. Yes, my love, that is Daddy's very expensive headset. If you please don't want to break that, that'd be awesome. Mwah. I love you. I love you, little bug. All right, I think it's bedtime though. We gotta get you to sleep because you've had a big day. Yes, I know. Say bye, Tundra Nation. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, and guys, as always, please give a round of applause to Mama Mego in the background, making sure the little bean is getting taken care of each and every night so the show can go on. Mama Mego, you have achieved legendary status. And, yep. And we appreciate your hard work, and we love you very, very much.
God, I want one of those like little like Skype heart buttons so that I can just like click hearts all over the fucking screen.
Love you, sweetheart. All right, guys. So let's dive in. Yeah. So PSA AK-74. Did anybody end up getting one? Let's go back into the chat and see.
I see a few who almost got one.
Oh, missed it by that much.
Here's my hypos hot take question of the evening. Here we go. And it's a simple question, one sentence, few letters. Why 545?
Cooler, I guess. That's my opinion. I absolutely would prefer the 545 by 39 over the 762 by 39 for the same reason I prefer 556 over 762 by 51. It's just more flexible, in my opinion. Now, granted, the 762 by 39 being more of a intermediate cartridge as well, definitely has its uses and capabilities, and it has its benefits. But we've talked about this in the past. I'm a maximum flexibility type of guy. I want my gun to be able to do the maximum amount of things. I don't like having like ultra specific specialty guns, with very few exceptions, obviously, like the Valk and a few other things. But for the most part, most of my guns are capable of thriving, maybe not excelling, but thriving in quite a few other roles than they were maybe originally designed to do. And I think that 545 represents that on the commie side of things very, very nicely.
Would you say that the 74 should most likely be somebody's alternate or secondary or other gun and not make that a primary?
Absolutely not.
Weapon?
No, absolutely not. I know plenty of people who run 74s as their primary defensive weapons.
I would be concerned about ammo availability because it's a less available round.
I would actually argue that quite specifically.
Okay.
Like even right now, well, I don't know, but as of yesterday, 545 by 39 was still readily available, where 556 and 223 ammunition is absolutely not. Now, granted, specific situation and circumstance, but even under normal circumstances, that old Russian ammo is abundant. It's abundant and it lasts. It's everywhere. There's so much of it. It's not like GP11, like Swiss GP11 75 by 55 that dries up and then it's never available again. And then on top of that, you got brands like Fiocchi and quite a few other, brass brands, I guess, that run brass ammo.
When you say this current situation, I guess that would be kind of we're getting close to like a worst case scenario in terms of ammo availability.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
well, I'd say we're already there, but
if you wanted to simulate it, well then I guess 545 would be the way to go in that instance, because things are about as ugly as they can get in terms of buying ammo.
Let me pull it up on Ammo Seek right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Where the hell?
And I'll just I'll laugh in my $10 a box of 50 IML that I got today.
There you go. That's pretty nuts. I
walked out of the store 300 rounds for $17 after what he had done for me.
That's awesome, dude. I can't believe he was able to actually like get it for you, period.
Well, and it's not just that, but it's going to be in the future as well, because he comes up and goes, "I'm your ammo guy. If you ever need anything."
So
Let's talk.
here's 60 grain Full Metal Jacket Wolf 750 count for 29 cents a round, in stock available.
Ooh,
Here's another one,
okay.
750 count, 29.2 cents a round, Wolf steel case. I mean, dude, like there is 29.9. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 listings on AmmoSeek that are under 30 cents a round for 750 rounds. So I would really argue that the people who are going the 545 route right now, at least, are having a way better experience than people running 556. Because if I look up 556 for comparison, we're looking at 65 cents a round, 69 cents a round, 70 cents a round, 70 cents a round, 70 cents a round, 72 cents a round. So it's, and this is, you know, some of these are specialty ammunitions like Ferengis, XM193s, 193s. So like the more popular calibers are drying up more quickly, right? And I would argue, and this should prove that point, that 545 is definitely nowhere close to being as popular as 556. But the people that are running 545 guns right now are having a good time. They can actually go out and shoot without feeling guilty about it. I was going to go shooting this weekend up at the lake, but I ended up deciding not to because I was like, well, shit, I can't get ammo and I can't replace this stuff, and I've only got like 1,200 rounds, so I'll just hold on to it, you know, for a Tundra shoot or something. And that sucks. That really effing sucks. But
yeah,
if you got 545, go fucking nuts.
I'm wondering, I guess, I had this thought while we're talking about this, about how the current situation is that the popular calibers are bought up, 545s available. Move forward into a situation where you have to scavenge, and this is like fantasizing bullshit, but do you think that 545 would still be a good available option if it were in the distributors and it was still at the locations of retailers and things like that? I still think that like 9mm 223 is going to be better for
in that specific
kind of bullshit situation.
Yeah, in that specific sense, like a nut and fancy, you know, WROL shit. Yeah. Then your 556 and your 9mm 45s, you know, your traditional calibers, your popular calibers are going to be what you're going to find the most of. But I would also once again say that I still think that there's enough 545 in circulation to still make it a viable round, even in that case. Now, granted, it's going to be less findable, I guess. But it's still,
you won't be able to loot it as easily.
I mean, you take a sample of 100 people, 100, you know, average shooters, or, you know, shooters of the groups that we hang out with, and I bet you you're running probably 25% AKs, and then split that in half for 74s and 47s. So it's not a huge number, but it's popular enough to be relevant.
Yeah, Semper makes a good point too, which is kind of one of my issues with it, which is that there's a much smaller arsenal that supports it. There's so many fewer weapons that actually use 5.5.
But so that was the big thing at SHOT Show this year, right? It was the year of the AK.
Yeah. You
know, the American-made AK. And what, you know, one of the reasons why, I think one of the reasons why the 5.56 and 9mm stuff has dried up so quickly is, you know, there were so many AR shooters that say, okay, well, shit, you know, you look at a parts kit right now, $1,000. It's like, well, damn, I thought AKs were supposed to be less expensive. Well, number one, that's not the case anymore. It used to be the case, but not really anymore. And number two, I think the anticipation really started getting to people. You know, there was delay after delay after delay. Real quick, are you hearing any form of wind noise from me, from my fan that's sitting next to me? Good. Okay, cool. I just pulled an Abed. Cool.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, cool.
Cool.
I was gonna say something, but I didn't.
So one of my theories is we have a lot of AR shooters out there that want to, like me, that want to get into a 74 platform. because number one, they're cool. Number two, I really do think that that they're interesting. It's something new and different. I have never owned an AK 47 or 74. The closest I could get is an old SKS and a Mosin. Like that's it. I don't have much in the Russian or Comblock arsenal, so to speak. So I really did, like, I wanted this year to be the year of the AK, and because of all those delays, I think that people just got bored waiting and went back to shooting their ARs. Then COVID hits, and then the ammo shortages and all the stuff going around in the country right now. And that all, contributes obviously in a big part to the shortage of specific calibers. I'm hoping that with the launch of the PSA AK-74 or the PS AK-74, that maybe some of that burden on the 5.56 will be relieved, because people will transition into getting those 74s once the production kind of meets up with the demand. Although if it's anything like the AKV, 2 years down the line, it's still impossible to find. But once production meets up with demand and more people are out there shooting 74s, maybe that will ease up the demand on 5.56, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Because let's be honest, 60 cents a round for 5.56 is, or 223 5.56 is just it's bananas.
Insane, dude. It's nuts.
It's bananas. So that's my take. What do you got? What do you think?
I agree. I've never owned a 5.45, and that's something I've been considering. I'd like to do it. I'd also I made a announcement. Speaking of calibers, real quick, I made an announcement in Discord that when we hit 224,000 subscribers, I will go buy a Volk.
All right, I can get one made for you.
Awesome.
I know a guy. Happens to be the former lead gunsmith of JP Enterprises. He'll do you right.
Slick. Never owned one. I've shot 5.45 twice, once suppressed, once full auto unsuppressed, and it felt like a 223 in terms of like its recoil and everything. It felt really comfortable. I would just be concerned about the ammo availability, and you've cleared that up for me.
I really don't think that
I'm really into, so I've never really looked into it.
Yeah, I think honestly, like, I don't want to go so far as to say like that's the caliber that's safe from the shortage, because I'm sure that will change as more people get a hold of 5.45 guns.
I thought talk rounds would be
right.
60 by 25. God, no.
No.
Thanks, classic firearms, for your cheap fucking pistols.
Hey, mine still works.
No, I mean, cheap isn't inexpensive. Everybody sees that and goes, "Give me your cheapest gun." Well, I've got this TT-33 for you.
I've got this toke. Yep. So yeah, I think it's a good round. I really do think it's a good round. I'm personally still always going to favor 5.56, but I do think it's a cool alternative, and that's all I got to say about that.
Okay, me too.
Wow. All right, well, let's just dive right into it, man, because it's going to be a heavy topic tonight. And I'm
glad we're drinking.
We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna kind of discuss it from our point of view and our perspective. Bear in mind, our opinion will probably differ than yours, or differ from yours. We tend to kind of ride the line here, from a divisive, standpoint, I guess. Like when these divisive topics come up, one of the things that I really like about Hypo and what we have here with the Tundra Nation is we don't jump into one side of the fence or onto the other side of the fence normally. There are certain topics and certain issues that we take a pretty hard stance on, but stuff like this, we do tend to kind of just sit back and watch. And that is one of the things, I think the easiest thing to start off with tonight to lead into what we're going to be talking about with the Kenosha stuff is it's tough. It really is difficult to sit back and watch what's going on. Not the actual event. Well, I mean, in some cases it is, but I'm talking from a social standpoint. You're looking, like you go to take a shit. What do? You open up Facebook or Instagram, right? Well, now I don't do that because it's literally the same BS over and over and over again. And it's just, it's number one, it's getting on my nerves. And number two, it's a lot of knee-jerk ignorance.
There's a lot of that. It's so bad that like the British tabloid that I read every day, Daily Mail, there was like 14 articles on it one day.
Yeah, it's so.
And 2 about Kim Kardashian's ass.
Here's the thing, guys. One of the things that I find very, very frustrating about our community is we are so quick to jump on the easiest target here is leftists or Democrats and saying, oh, this is the narrative that they're spinning and blah, 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 blah. But when something like this happens and you go the 100% opposite, you are literally doing the exact same thing. You're just not seeing it because that narrative aligns with your thoughts, you know, what you agree with.
That's one of the things I think you and I are pretty much in line with all the time is extremism and taking those left and right sides.
Sure.
And not politically, but just taking the extremist ends and going, you guys don't fucking have any clue. You're not listening to the other side at all.
Well, so when the riots were kicking off, I said some pretty unpopular stuff on, well, not unpopular, but you know, I got people saying, oh, I thought you were a different person. I'm really not. Like, what you see is what you get with me. And when it comes to like major, you know, potentially nation defining events, you know, things that can change the way our nation works, I tend to just stand back and watch and try to absorb as much information as humanly possible, because when I do render an opinion, I want it to be the best opinion that I can formulate based off of the information that I have. And that information, I'm trying my damnedest to make sure that it is fact, not conjecture. When you see something like this happen, inevitably within an hour, the wall has been built. The fence is there, and you're either on this side or you're on that side, and everybody's, you know, standing on that fence, hucking rocks at the other side, trying to knock the other person out. And what I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is I'm startled by the lack of want for the ability to critically think and analyze and look, as opposed to taking the easiest possible way out and just by saying, you're right, I'm wrong. That, you know, you look at the classic example of a CNN versus a Fox News. Mm-hmm. Okay. One says the guy's a hero, the other says the guy's a villain. Based on what information?
Yeah,
what information do we have? We have one video,
mm-hmm.
no story, no background, and all of a sudden this guy's, to a certain percentage of the country, a massive hero, to a certain percentage of the rest of the country, a massive villain. We have since learned a lot, you know, since the incident happened. We've since learned a lot about what did go down. To a certain extent, I doubt we'll ever know the full details. But, you know, if I was to render an overall, if I was asked to give a statement, I guess that would define my position on this. The best statement that I could give is this: from a legal perspective, 100% self-defense. There is no question in my mind. Based on the information that I have available to me right now and what I've seen, and the sources that I'm using to gather that information, 100% self-defense. The unpopular thing that I'm going to say is, kid shouldn't have been there.
See, and that's where I was going with this too. I was going to somewhat play devil's advocate in this and say, could that situation been avoided by not being there? Like, was there a level of antagonizing involved with that? So
from the information that I have, this kid did everything right. He did everything right. He painted himself in the best possible picture. And it sounds like shit just went to hell in a handbasket for him.
Sure.
Okay. And that happens. You know, that's one of the things that we train and we prepare for years, right? Hoping that's never going to happen, but preparing for it. Okay, kid's 17 years old. How many tactical courses has he been to? How, you know, what situational awareness training does he have? What conflict avoidance, de-escalation training does he have? Now, he might have some. He might be better than all of us combined. I don't know. But my assumption is based on his age and, yes, the equipment that he was using, he probably doesn't have a ton invested in it. Now, you don't have to be, a Delta operator to exercise your Second Amendment rights. The point that I'm trying to make is don't put yourself into potentially combative and conflictive situations that you're not ready for just because you're capable of doing so. You are allowed to exercise your Second Amendment rights. If I want to go out and guard a car dealership because I think it's my civic duty, I feel comfortable doing that. I'm not going to because I got a wife and kids at the house. If I get hurt out there, like he almost did.
Sure. And they're going to be like, Tyler, go home. We've told you this before.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want you here.
Yes. Stop.
So the point that I'm trying to make here is I don't take offense, or I don't have a problem with his being like the defensive side of things. I think that everything that he did was right. He made every attempt before applying lethal force to get out of that situation. And I mean, he essentially did like nothing short of the Mogadishu Mile.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah.
Like, he was running away. He was tired. He was, he was assed out by the time he started taking them shots. And then when he went to the ground, he's got nothing else to do. Like, he has fulfilled his duty to retreat. And according to what I know of Wisconsin's laws, they do have a duty to retreat law. He fulfilled that requirement. And then, once again, from the research that I did, Wisconsin also says that you have to be in immediate fear of death or great bodily harm for one party to use legally lethal force against another party. So, yes, empty-headed gamer, we'll definitely be getting to that. Semper, we'll be getting to that too. From a defensive standpoint, he is 100%, in my opinion. If I was on that jury, I'd say in the fucking clear, right there, in the fucking clear. It is a clear-cut case of self-defense. Interestingly enough, the New York Times, a very, very left-wing publication, has actually gone on record and wrote an article agreeing with that statement. They said they've looked at the evidence and they say 100% clear-cut case of self-defense. And I mean, that's pretty freaking rare. To alienate the political narrative of your company's publication, right? To take the opposite stance. To whoever wrote that article, not just because I'm a pro 2A guy, and I agree with that statement. What I'd like to say to whoever wrote that article is thanks for at least doing the research.
Sure.
And like looking into it and providing, he provided like 6 different streams and camera angles from 6 separate sources saying, here's what happened in this particular engagement. Here's what happened in this particular engagement, in this incident. And you can clearly see that, yeah, he did not initiate the firefight. Somebody cranked a shot at, I think his back was turned. Somebody cranked a shot off into the air, and that's what kicked it all off. Now, if my back's turned and I hear gunshots, I'm not looking to where that bullet's fucking landing. No, it's on.
Yeah.
It is now, like, the switch has been flipped.
Same.
And you could say,
there are no brakes on this commie fuck train.
Shit. I was waiting for that thing to get brought into
right?
play.
So, like, from that point forward, once that first shot is fired, I am now in immediate fear of death or great bodily harm. That has been, that one pillar has been achieved for me. Okay, in Minnesota, we have a couple of other ones. You have to be an unwilling participant, immediate fear of death or great bodily harm. You have a duty to retreat, and what's the one I'm missing? Oh God, alcohol, you're sapping my brain. But anyways, over in Wisconsin, I believe he just has those 2 pillars to fill. Immediate fear of death or great bodily harm, and he has a duty to retreat. So, okay, that shot rings out. He's moving right away. So he's attempting to retreat. Now he's being confronted. That first guy is absolutely, he's saying, shoot me, N-word, shoot me. Well, I just heard a gunshot go off. You just identified yourself as a threatening target. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know why you're asking me to do this, but you have something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that part, the defensive standpoint is relatively less muddy than I think the bigger issue at hand,
and
which everybody that I've seen in chat is emulating this.
Yep, we're getting there.
Which is okay.
So you're talking
Why
about
was he? Why
yeah.
was he there?
Yeah. So why was he there?
He shouldn't have been there to begin with. But it gets muddy, in my opinion, and I'm gonna completely go on a rant for a second. But it gets muddy in my opinion because he was exercising his right to get out there to go defend, do whatever, and to a small fraction, I understand what was happening, why he was there, what was going on, and he thought he was doing the right thing. But why is there a 17-year-old kid out there with a rifle in a situation that could escalate into something like that?
Sure.
How is that okay?
Well, okay, so I take a small issue with the way you phrase that. And the what I take issue with is not why is a 17-year-old kid out there. It's what's his background, what's his training, what's his reputation like. If he has the requisite ability, hell yeah, I want that kid on my team. I don't care well, maybe I do care how old he is, but like if the training, the skill, the ability is there to not just prosecute a threat, but to provide site security, to provide that safety bubble, to be a guy that I can rely on, right? If I look, and once again, I know I'm judging, and that's kind of our bit, that's what we do here, but I'm being serious about this. Like, if somebody shows up downtown during the riots with a fucking DPMS rifle and a sight mark optic on it, I'm saying, go home, kid. Go home, do some research, get some training, and then let's talk. Generally speaking, the equipment that's brought to the fight can determine at least an element of a relative skill. Now, yes, you can buy all the shit that you want, and it's never, ever, ever going to make you any better than what you have trained for. Okay, but if you stand next to me with a DPMS gun with a sight mark on top of it, and then you put a kitted dude right next to him, who am I going to pick? At least initially, right? At least initially. If I have the luxury of asking some questions and determining some things. Now, I understand we can't know this, and I'm just being hypothetical here, but my issue with that is not why was he there, but why did he deserve to be there? What was his... you talk about exercising your right. I'm totally fine with that. But you also have to exercise an element of responsibility.
Sure.
You have a right, yes, but you also have a responsibility. You're carrying a firearm. Okay, you're carrying a deadly weapon. Now, granted, that kid split a wig and hit what it sounds like most of his shots. Now, I know that a couple went off pretty errantly, and that's what happens in a close quarters engagement where you're on the ground and people are trying to rip the rifle off of you. You just start fucking pulling the trigger. We said that many times. You pull the trigger till it goes click, and if you have the luxury of reloading, you do that, and you continue pulling the trigger until nothing else is threatening you.
My biggest question is, do you think that he became a target though because he had that rifle? And I know that's an unpopular question, but
oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Do you think that anytime you bring a firearm, and this I'm very, very steadfast on that belief that as soon as you make an attacker or any threat, I guess, aware that you have a firearm, you have escalated the situation.
You have, yep.
And beyond a point where you can't take it back down.
So the counter,
easily, at least.
The counterpoint to that is, well, I'm going to open carry my rifle as a deterrent, right?
Okay. Yeah,
well,
and that to me feels like the same kind of deterrent as I'm going to rack a shotgun to make the bad guy run away.
Sure. The way I see it from a psychological standpoint is that is going to work on a certain percentage of people. But sure. Everybody else is going to see that as an absolute not threat, but
threat to them.
Well, yes, but it's going to be
an act of aggression.
Exactly. Thank you. It's an act of aggression. Oh, okay. So you're gonna strap up and roll on me, huh? Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do, and then that situation starts to become more and more hostile. And
it just continues to become more of a problem.
Yeah. In a perfect world, we were talking about this the other night with Synth. The how castle doctrine actually works. It's not always as cut and dry as people think it is.
No.
And so, in my opinion, the best possible thing that kid could have done for his own safety, for the safety of others, and for, let's be honest, the sake of our community, is plant his happy ass in one spot and find a good defensive fallback position. One of the things that kind of tells me that he has relatively little to no training is the guy found himself in a position where he was on his own and overwhelmed, and that shouldn't happen. You should have a battle buddy. You should have somebody with you that can back you up. You should have, okay, when you're here, here's fallback position Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. This is where we're going if shit goes down or if we can't, maintain security at that position. My life is not worth a business. Okay, I'm a dad. Okay, he's somebody's son. Our lives are not worth businesses. Businesses are insured. They can be replaced. Yes, it sucks to see things in your community that you know and love get destroyed. But you can't be there to make it right. Or excuse me, you can't make it right if you're not there. If you're dead or if you're in jail. Okay. Now, we're getting to the next point, which is, okay, why was he there? Okay. Kid was 17. He's too young to be legally open carrying a rifle. Now, I don't think that they have a self-defense case against the kid. Or, a murder one case or a manslaughter case. Well, maybe they have a manslaughter case, but not a murder case. Because I really do genuinely believe it was clear-cut self-defense. Oh, interesting. Okay, so apparently he did have a group, according to William Cooper. He got separated, which does happen, so that's something that I don't know, apparently. So if that is in fact the case, it sucks. It happens. But when you've got professionals out there, the chances of that happening are significantly less. We have a guy, part of our team, that's in the videos, the big guy, Volk. He's somebody that has experience doing very similar things during the Minneapolis riots. I won't go into specifics or anything, but he found himself in a really bad situation too, where he had to discharge his firearm, and he made it out just fine. Now, granted, really scary situation, very different from what this kid went through, but I mean, the guy's a pro. He's worked corrections. He was part of disaster relief, for like hurricanes and things like that. This guy has experience in, years and years of like real world, no shit practical experience. That is the guy that I want downtown defending my business. I don't want that 17-year-old kid. So, in relation to, I think they're still going to hang him out, and he's going to get charged with being underage and carrying a firearm. I don't think that they're just going to let this go. Politically, something has to be done to this kid from the perspective of the politicians, not necessarily my perspective. But I do think he's going to get hung out, which is unfortunate. The kid was in, it sounded like maybe the wrong place, wrong time. But at the same time, he put himself there.
Sure. Yeah. And that's harsh to say, but that's true. He put himself in that position.
So let's go back through and see what people are saying.
There's quite a bit. I mean, and a lot of people are definitely mirroring a lot of our opinions on this.
What kind of sucks though is it takes us discussing this to really get people to start critically thinking about it. Because I guarantee you, like if we never talk about it in this light, people are going to take that divisive stance. And it's not a shot to the Tundra Nation out there. It's just a shot to our community in general.
No.
The way we work is either.
Also,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the questions the Big Fun was mentioning, or one of the statements he made was, not to blame the kid. And I know he wasn't directing that at me, but it to me is more introspective, and it's more of a thinking about what I would do in that kind of circumstance or that situation, and thinking about the ethical and moral implications of what have happened and how that can be avoided. And I think that's the important thing to kind of note is loss of life is terrible, and how can it be avoided at most costs?
So
that's where I go with these things. I'm
gonna address his comment directly. He says blaming him for getting attacked is like blaming the girl to short skirt, for getting assaulted. I actually think that there's a difference between those two things. I'm never gonna say that it's okay to blame the girl who got sexually assaulted for wearing what she was wearing. In this case, you have a 100% choice to avoid that situation altogether by just staying home.
Sure.
You know, go ahead.
There's a lot of people in our community though that will argue against that, saying, you know what, he was doing what he needed to protect what he believed was important.
Sure.
And
But
that's very, very confusing and muddy to me personally. And that's kind of the introspection part of it is like, people that know me know I'm not politically aligned either way.
Yeah, neither am I.
Do I think the protests are bad? No, I think protesting is great. Do I think that the riots are bad? Destroying other people's property for the sake of a purpose or making your point is pretty unclear to me personally. You know, I believe, you know, we should probably do everything we can to keep our freedoms, but I don't know. That's the biggest question.
Can I address something with what you just said?
Yeah.
Wouldn't we do the same thing though if our rights were being intimately and immediately threatened? So how can we criticize?
I would like to believe I would. I would like to believe I would.
Yeah. How can we criticize?
Would I? I don't know. Would I run? Would I stay home?
Yeah.
Would I go out there? Would I take an active, participative role in what he was doing? Or would I sit back and watch it on TV?
Yeah, like that's my major issue with a lot of this stuff is, you know, because it doesn't line up, you know, the protests and the riots and things like that, you know, with the you know, main kind of targeting factor being BLM, and the vast majority of the shooting community being very heavily right wing. Not all of them, of course, and there are plenty of moderates out there. There's plenty of left wing shooters out there, but because from a general perspective, we don't agree with this. It's like, well, why can't there just be peaceful protests? And why can't we do this? And why can't we do that? But then at the same time, 2 days later, you know, there's a new gun law that gets passed and says, motherfucker, if you do this, I'm taking it to the streets, right?
I'm putting on the Hawaiian shirt.
Exactly. We say the same stuff. And I would like to believe that if there was an imminent threat to our ultimate right of firearms, that we would take some form of extreme action to say no, we're taking a stand. We're not letting this happen. I would like to believe that our community would do that, or at least a good percentage of our community would do that. Blaming the kid, there has to be some blame placed on him. Not a ton, but there has to be some blame. Had he not put himself in that situation, and to kind of, this might be a really, really bad thing to say. I haven't really thought this one out, but I'm going to say it anyways. You know, making that analogy of saying blaming the kid is like blaming the girl, right? Well, if the girl knows that she is, you know, like she's walking into a terribly volatile situation where there's a really like high risk of a sexual assault or a rape or something like that happening, why not just go around it? Or why not stay home for that particular evening? Now, yes, that technically you're free to do what the hell you want, but you're also free to make the right decision.
Yeah, I think it boils down to naivety and age and just maturity in general.
I'll go ahead and say it. I think the kid wanted to be there.
Choices.
I think the kid wanted to be there. He wanted to exercise his Second Amendment right.
Yeah, he wanted. And like somebody mentioned before, and I knew this, he was out there to clean up graffiti and try to make a difference and fix things.
And that's why I said that at the beginning. He painted himself in the best possible light.
Shit.
He did everything right.
But
except for
what
that.
occurred later, I'm still out. I'm out with the jury on that one in terms of you know, should he have been out there with a rifle?
I don't think so. Once again, you have every right to exercise your ability to carry a firearm, but you also have a responsibility to find yourself in the best possible chance for safety and success of whatever operation, whatever mission, whatever thing that you are doing. And through whatever circumstance, and once again, I understand I'm being critical and I was not there. You know, I'm looking at it through the benefit of hindsight. I'm looking at it with, you know, a microscope view on his specific actions, and I don't see what happened around him. I understand what I'm saying, or I understand that, and I'm taking that into account when I render these opinions. But I really think that had there been a more advanced level person in that same situation, they would have found a way to. They would have found maybe a different end result. Maybe not. Maybe that was just the way it was going to play out that night. But I would like to believe that you put somebody with more experience and more training in that situation, and there's a different end result. And now it's not this gigantic divisive topic. I hate the fact that the kid's in jail right now. I hate the fact that he's probably going to be suffering from PTSD for a good chunk of the rest of his life.
Well, yeah. I hate that there's people that died because of his actions.
Exactly.
And that's not something that's not blaming. There's no blame in that statement. His actions led to people no longer existing, and that's a terrible thing. Loss of life to me is an awful atrocity, like across the board. I don't want to see people die. None of us do, I would hope. But he's going to be changed forever. The lives and the families of the people that lost people are going to be changed forever. And I think our discussion really is based around, not the political aspect of it, but just what could have been done differently or not, and whether or not it was justified, I suppose.
Sure. Well, 100%. I think based on the situation, it was justified. I have literally no question in that. Once again,
I don't have enough information to see, but
I'll link you that New York Times article.
Please do, because it looks justified to me from the surface.
It's very revealing when you see 6 different angles on the 3 different engagements. There's absolutely in my mind, there's no question. There's like I said, if I was on that jury, I'm not fucking moving. I'm saying self-defense all the way. I don't care how long this takes. Self-defense all the fucking way. I'll just reiterate the point. I just don't think the kid should have been there.
I completely agree.
It's like putting a 13-year-old behind a race car. It's just like, you can do it.
RecTech just made a good point too, and so did Richard Olson and a couple other people. Is that the people that decided to attack him because of that also made their decision, and they chose to do what happened.
And there is a great amount of blame to be placed on them as well.
For sure. It's not so cut and dry, and it's not so black and white, and it's not this side did this, so they're right.
But
it's so intricate.
To take it back to something that you were talking about earlier, though, would that situation have escalated to a deadly force situation had he not been carrying that rifle?
And that's where I keep going back to. And I love our protests. I love that we have the right to bear arms, but should we always?
You gotta pick your battles.
That's kind of where I keep going back to is, should he have been out there? Yes. Should he have been trying to protect the business that he was asked to protect? Yes. Did he need a rifle? Did he need a firearm? I don't know.
He needed a firearm 100%. But once again,
did he need to display it in the way that he did, though?
And that
kind of comes down to like open carry versus concealed. That's where my brain goes, and I think that it definitely did not help deter the situation, but in turn escalated it, because you're showing a force, you're showing aggression, you're showing threatening aggression.
You're showing aggression to people who are pissed off. Okay. Give me a thumbs up to everyone who's married in or has at least been long-term lady friend in chat right now. Start dropping those thumbs up, because here's my ultimate point. When you tell your wife to calm down, how well does that work?
Hey, Semper, does that sound familiar, bud?
Yeah. How well does that work? I mean, obviously, different point, right? Exaggeration to make a point. But when you tell somebody to calm down, how well does that work? It doesn't. It just doesn't. There's literally like maybe one chance in a million that they go, you know what, buddy? You were right. I apologize for being out of line. Okay. No, what does that do? Calm down? You fucking calm down. You fucking calm down. I'm calm, buddy. I'm calm. I'm fucking calm.
Sweetheart. Is it that time of the month?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You need some chocolate?
That is, you definitely need a gun then.
You need 40 Mike and maybe a couple bottles of this.
So in essence, Once again, exaggerating to prove a point, totally different scenarios, understood. But he's essentially wearing that rifle on the front of his chest. He is essentially telling them to calm down, saying, I have the ability to hurt you. Okay? If somebody does that to me, I am getting aggressive.
Yeah,
I'm
going to go into my defensive posture.
Yep, I am not an aggressive person until somebody shows aggression towards me. And once that switch gets flipped, it's very difficult for things to not go one of two ways, and you can work that out in your head as to what I mean by that. So trying, going back to the original statement of just it being so frustrating seeing people say, kill them all, fuck the commies, and these guys, half of these people aren't fucking commies. That's the thing. The shit of it is the people on the other end of that rifle, sure, bad guys, right? They're trying to do violence to somebody else. Okay, who knows what that situation would have been like had the kid not been carrying a rifle. He still could have found himself in a deadly force situation, which would have sucked to not have that rifle. But like most of these people, they're good people. They're just pissed off. Yeah. They're the exact same thing that we would be had our rights been constantly threatened for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden people started dying over it, which has happened to us, which has happened. People have been killed.
It's a classic paradox. It really is. Like, who is the bad guy? If you take, and I think there's like one or two movies that I've seen where it actually shows the perspective of both sides of a fighting force. But a good example is the non bad guys from Germany in World War II. Your average person who is fighting for country and liberty and all that stuff, what they want on their side versus the invading forces, the allies. They see their opinion as they're the good guys. We see our opinion as we're the good guys. Where's that line drawn, and how can we determine?
Great point, Catmill.
Who that is?
So I'm going to address a comment here from Jorgmungand, I believe is how you pronounce it. He says, at Tundra Nation, Tyler, yes, it would have been deadly even if he wasn't armed. Don't see armed innocents getting beaten or killed at these riots. The difference is that Kyle would have been the one dead. And with that, I guess with that statement, I guess I can't necessarily disagree with you. I'll reiterate the point that I take that I'm trying to make is, why put yourself in that situation when you don't have the adequate training, life experience, or and like I'm hanging myself out to dry because the obvious response to that is, well, you weren't there, and I 100% get that. Like there literally there might be a case where everything that he could have done was absolutely 100% by the book, better than anything that I could have ever done, and he still ended up in that position. I don't think it's very likely, but I understand that there is a percent chance that might have happened. So in relation to that comment, the way you phrase it, yes, you don't see a whole lot of armed innocents being beaten or killed. Deterrence works. It absolutely does. But it also escalates. You will also find yourself at a higher percentage chance to be put into a deadly force situation when you're open carrying a rifle in your chest.
Yeah.
And yes, it's awesome to have it when you need it. But your primary responsibility is to find a way to put yourself into a position where you don't need it.
That should be all of our end goal, is to be in a situation where we don't need to be defensive.
And I mean, here's the thing. If the kid's going to break the rules anyways, why not conceal a handgun?
Yeah. That was a question too.
From everything that I saw, the kid fired about 13 shots. Okay, so that's Glock 17, Glock 15 territory right there. It's all close range. Now that the first shot that he took where he split the dude's wig, that's definitely an easier shot with a rifle than it is with a handgun. But at the same time, I bet you, I know I wasn't there, Please don't hang me out to dry for it. It's just my opinion. I bet you if that was concealed, he wouldn't have found himself in that position to begin with. I just that's my call.
I agree.
And it's the
really
best.
agree
It's the
too.
best of both worlds. You know, he's exercising his right to keep and bear arms. He's defending a property. Okay, so he's doing his civic duty. You know, still not addressing the fact that I don't believe this kid had the proper responsibility. He hadn't met his responsibility quota to be there. But if you take all that away, concealing that 17 or 19, you know, under the shirt, you're not immediately escalating that situation. Yeah, I know he was too young. I understand that, William, but he was too young to carry a rifle. He was too young to open carry a rifle by a year anyways. So, I mean, he's breaking the rules. So if he's going to break the rules, why not break them responsibly, I guess? That's the bit that I'm trying to say here.
Yeah. One issue I have with him carrying a rifle and a few people carrying rifles in those very densely packed situations, riots and protests and stuff, is rifles have a tendency to overpenetrate.
Yeah, that's
significantly.
Yep.
And a handgun is superior in terms of its ammunition. And
you know, I'll be honest with you. If I was put in that kid's same position, I'm strapping a rifle.
I probably would too. I would too. If I were thinking emotionally, like, and I'm kind of projecting here, but if I were emotionally out there like that, I would probably have a rifle. Realistically, though, I think a pistol would be a better, safer option for the people around.
Yeah. Dickie B says PCC, and yeah, best of both worlds.
Yeah. There you go. Just no 10 mil, Dickie.
Yeah. So, real quick, let's see. So Semper says he put 2 center mass and 1 skim the dome. Yeah, like I can't argue with shot placement. It's the kid did he did the job right. Definitely. I can't believe at 17 there are a ton of kids out there though that have, like, okay, marksmanship training is one thing, but it's one very small thing to our entire lifestyle. Marksmanship training is not everything. It's situational awareness, conflict de-escalation, conflict avoidance, and all of these other things.
The biggest thing, I think. Yeah.
You know, and that's once again, that's where I take issue. I'm not criticizing the kid's shot placement. You know, when the trigger had to be pulled, he did it right. To the best of my knowledge, there was no collateral damage.
No.
Okay, awesome. Out fucking
Very
standing.
well could have been.
But
Really.
let's see. So Jormungard, he says at Tundra Nation, he was given a rifle, not a handgun. Oh, okay, that I did not know. He said he didn't bring that gun from home. I'm gonna have to do some research onto that, and if that's the case, then that changes my opinion. Because hey, you know, I'm also somebody who says you got to work with what you got, and that completely invalidates a lot of my argument about. Say it again.
That puts blame on somebody else.
That absolutely does.
Too,
Yeah.
In terms of escalation of aggression.
Yorman, do me a favor and get me your source on that. Shoot it to me. If you're in Discord, shoot it to me via DM. If you're not in Discord, Tyler@tundratactical.com is my email address. I would love to see the source on that, so I can do a little bit of research. And if that's actually the case, then my opinion would change quite significantly on the situation. Because yeah, sometimes you just got to work with the shit that you got. And if that's the case specifically, then the choice wasn't his. To
what? It was still his.
It was still his to remain. Right.
Fire was not.
Yeah, it was
really.
still his. It was still his to remain in the area and do the things that he did. But at the same time, that once again kind of harkens back to, you know, he was there for the right reasons. He was the guy that was cleaning up graffiti. He was the guy that was rendering medical aid to protesters. He was, you know, he was doing the good guy work. And like, I love the kid for that. But if that is in fact the case, then that significantly changes some things. And you're 100% right. That puts the blame squarely on the person issuing that rifle to somebody. Because I'll tell you one thing, I'm not giving any of my damn guns away to people I don't know. That's just the stupidest fucking thing you could ever do. Like,
yeah, that's a call for bad choices.
Semper says, sorry, shouldn't have added at Tundra Nation. Uh, the problem I see is the marketplace. Okay, yeah, everyone's enemy, and yeah, Semper, I can see that, but it's something that I've struggled with too, coming from a military background. And one of the responsibilities that we have as vets is to distance ourselves from a lot of that threat analysis perspective. We're not offensively being combative like we were in the military in certain situations. Now, in that particular situation, like the Afghanistan market paradox, or the Afghan paradox, you are technically in a defensive posture at that point, but everything is so keyed for an offensive posture, like as soon as it kicks. We're not talking about a platoon of infantry with a Bradley for a backup, or the ability to to shoot, move, and communicate. We're talking about 1 to possibly 2 people in a shit box of a situation. So this is like Mogadishu would be more of an accurate comparison, where everyone's separated, the entire place is hostile against you, they don't want you there, and you're, just by wearing a uniform, you're identifying yourself as a target. So I think that would be a more accurate comparison. And in that, the wisest possible thing, and the thing that they did, was just get the fuck out. And inevitably, that's exactly what he did. But it unfortunately, along the way, some crummy events happened.
Yeah.
And, like I said, this was going to be an unpopular opinion to begin with. Understand, it's just an opinion. That's all it is. We tend to live in, like myself and Hypo, we tend to try our best to see things from both perspectives. To see things, don't get us wrong when we're saying this. Like, we're 100% in the boat of, fuck yeah, 2A, let's go, all day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But we're also in the boat saying that 2A comes with responsibilities. That 2A is more than just going out to the range and practicing marksmanship drills. That 2A comes with a responsibility to your fellow man and woman and kid and grandma and grandpa, fucking dogs, cats, like everything that's important to human life. There is a responsibility for you to be good.
Yeah.
In more than just one basic line of carrying a firearm. Marksmanship training is not everything. The major issue that I think that this is going to devolve into, to completely change the topic, and this is what's going to get people really fired up, and I'm sorry I'm springing this on you, Hypo.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, this is where it's going to really go off. And I'm just saying this. I'm not gonna. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. But I'm just saying this. What this is going to turn into, once the self-defense case is brought forward and they realize, oh shit, okay, he actually was working in a defensive capacity. He met all of the, the laws that allowed him to use deadly force in that situation. What this is going to turn into is it's going to be, what was the name of the kid that got slapped by the cops? That sparked the situation. I can't fucking remember his name because I've been drinking too much. But so why was he shot immediately? And this kid, caps 3 people, walks through a police line, and they don't give him 2 looks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is going to turn into, and it already is starting that way. Thank you, yeah. Jacob Blake. I appreciate that, Semper. So why was Jake shot? Back turned to the police. Regardless of what he did, okay, back turned to the police. You can't see if they have a weapon. Yeah, okay, there's some discretion involved there. But I'll be honest, I'm not super spun up on that. I've been focusing, trying to prepare so much for this stream that I've been completely ignoring that whole subject. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I am literally, yeah, I know, I get it, precision holster. I'm admitting, literally, I have no idea what I'm talking about right now. I'm just rendering the statement saying that what this is going to turn into is, why was this situation, why was that, amount of lethal force applied to somebody who I believe the cop couldn't identify was armed, versus somebody who had just shot 3 people and walked towards the police line, and they literally ignored the kid.
Well, from what Richard had said, he was pushed past the police line from the other side into that situation as well.
Elaborate. I don't know that part of the story.
Okay, Richard, fill me in on this because I'm not aware this is.
I'd like to hear that.
As he was, if I'm understanding the timeline, went out, graffiti, whatever, daytime, nighttime.
So
went out.
Precision Holsters. Precision Holsters says he totally agrees that will become the answer is context, and I'm actually going to modify your answer. I will say context with perspective. Context is one thing, but perspective is you got to think, Scott, that we're talking about the American people here. Context requires critical thinking. Hi, Train. Context requires critical thinking. 99.9% of Americans do not have the time, effort, or desire to critically analyze a subject. Perspective is easier because perspective allows them to align a certain event with their beliefs, regardless of what happened, what actually happened, right? This is the classic news media thing, right? Regardless of what actually happened, you can find facts to support your belief. If I really was like a diehard leftist, I could find, facts to support all of the gun control I could ever want in my entire life. If I was a hardcore right, I could find all of the stuff that says gun control is stupid and doesn't fucking work. Okay? I can do that because there is so much information out there. And what's hilarious to me is that you end up doing the same amount of work trying to justify your own opinion that it would take to critically analyze a situation and maybe have the fucking sack to break from what the masses are saying and actually render, not be afraid to say what you think. I think a lot of people out there are afraid to be different, have a different opinion, and I'm not fucking afraid. I will say what is on my mind, regardless if it makes me popular or unpopular. And I know you will too, and that's the reason that we're having this discussion, is I think that people need to hear that not all gun guys say that yes, he was right, yes, he was, or no, he was wrong. A lot of people are saying, a lot of gun guys out there, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have MK on here. I invited him on the stream for the express purpose of what he was saying on Facebook, and he was just like, he was putting stuff out there and just saying, what are your thoughts on this? That's somebody who's critically analyzing a situation. That's somebody who's saying, I don't understand. What are your thoughts? I'm trying to look for information. Go ahead.
I think that's our responsibility as people that are not directly involved in it, is we need to talk to each other about it and ask each other about it and question it. And I hope nobody in chat thinks that we're taking a black or white side on this situation. We're not trying to be moderate. We're curious. We want to know.
We want to know how to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. And Richard just said the police made a line and started pushing the crowd down the street. When he put out the fire, he tried to go back to the business, but the police line had passed it. He couldn't go back.
Interesting. Okay.
Also, Scott P79 says, check your DMs.
Stand by one. Oh, yep. Okay. I got something from Yorgman.
We have major breaking news pertaining to Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old who was charged with first-degree intentional homicide.
All right. So I'm going to watch this later on because it's 22 minutes long, Yorman. Thank you very much for sending it to me. This is coming from Scott P79. It says, when you start manufacturing facts to support false accusations, you get into trouble. It's a Twitter. You get into trouble under the law of defamation. Kyle did not carry a gun across state lines. The gun belonged to his friend, a Wisconsin resident. The gun was never left the state of Wisconsin. So I appreciate that, Scott. What I need is I need something like factual that actually says that, not a Twitter post, before I believe it. And I'm not saying that I don't. It's just before I actually say, oh shit, like this is something that I need to really look at to change my opinion. Twitter is not something that's going to change my opinion. Facebook is not something that's going to change my opinion. I understand that most of you fucks out there are idiots. I get that. I love you for being idiots. I'm an idiot. I am the dumbest of dumbs. Note that last statement, okay? I am the king idiot. Hypo is the queen idiot, because he's my bitch. Damn right.
Scott says that came from his lawyer. Now, while I agree, and that's a whole other fucking like 5 episodes worth of like social media and the impact on what we believe. But he says that comment was from his lawyer. Okay. I mean, even our POTUS uses Twitter, unfortunately, to detriment of himself sometimes.
Huh? So
yeah, I don't know, man. It like bottom line. Let's wrap this up. Get to the questions and get to more fun stuff, because I am a little bummed right now.
You know, honestly, I'm loving every second of this, because like I'm getting shit off of my chest right now, and it feels good, because I've been holding this in for so long, and I've been waiting till I felt, you know, at least semi-educated enough to say, you know, there are parts of this that I agree with, but there are parts of this that I don't agree with. And while, yes, this may be unpopular, this is why you guys tune in. You know, well, maybe not the reason why you guys tune in, but this is at least the reason why, you know, the people that are close to me respect the opinions given on this channel. They understand that, yes, I am firmly planted in the pro 2A ground. You fuck with my guns, you fuck with my right to carry guns, you know, we're going to have words. There's going to be a discussion involved. And you know, hopefully nothing escalates out of that point, because nobody wants to see that happen.
No. But
given the critical analysis of a situation, applying that critique, obviously with the benefit of hindsight, I think only makes us better.
I think, yeah, talking about it makes us better.
It makes us understand issues that maybe we weren't aware of in the past.
Sure.
I've learned 2 critical pieces of information that I didn't know tonight because of you guys. And that is where that's where this benefit of dialogue is good for us as a community, where instead of sitting in our own little echo chamber and saying, yep, 100%, he was in the right, everything's good, let's fucking do this, I don't know why there's a problem, nobody in America should have a problem with this. Of course people in America should have a problem with this. 2 people lost their lives, it sounds like, and 1 person was injured. I don't care who they were. Okay? We're not talking about fucking Osama bin Laden here. We're not talking about fucking Hitler.
No.
We're talking about 3 Americans that lost their lives. Okay. Yes, maybe they were bad people. Okay. Maybe. I mean, maybe.
Okay.
Yes, no, who cares? 3 people lost their lives. We got to talk about it.
Yeah, and somebody has lost their
freedom.
They potentially will have to deal with therapy. They will have to deal with...
There are consequences.
Absolutely.
This is not...
both sides are to blame.
This is not a heroic event.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah, this is not this is 2A, big win, we killed people. No, that's not what we're about, guys.
No.
And there are people out there, I know most of you in chat will say, Tyler, stop being an idiot. I don't believe that. That I get. But I'm speaking to the greater percentage of our community when I say that. So, and that is where we will end this discussion. How's that sound? All right,
sounds good to me.
It sounds like we're getting some calls well, at least Ranger wants it, because I know he put it together. So we will start off the next... What's that?
He said, what a narcissist.
He's taking pages right out of my book, essentially. All right, stand by here. All right, so he wants us to go through top comments of the week. And top comments of the week is the segment of the show where we pull, or Ranger pulls, a hand-picked selection of some of the best and worst comments from last week's videos, or usually the video of last week, but they can come from anywhere. And I'm actually really happy to say tonight that we have our first Reddit comment. So apparently one of you fucks posted this video to Reddit, and we actually got a comment on it, which is, I think this might be a first. This might be a first. Generally speaking, we only really show stuff on YouTube. We don't do a whole lot on Facebook or Twitter or on Reddit. And this comment comes from Tack Turtle. Okay. And he says, Customers are too rational and well dressed and bathed. Lamau, have you ever seen a baby bird? Actually, now that I think about it, also overpaid for the high point. Yeah, I probably did. $10 is a little bit too much for a high point. I don't know if you guys caught that in the last video, but yeah, I gave the FUD $10 to actually. I didn't even buy the high point. I gave him $10 to take it out of my store.
Carnage and Tony are saying, don't forget a word from our sponsors. Do you want to make a comment on this, sir?
Yes. So I am actually holding off on that tonight, Carnage, because there's a bigger bit with that one. It's really, really good. And I'm planning something bigger for what you put forth there. And I don't want to burn it on just a live stream. That one's too good. And we'll talk a little bit later. So the next one is back on YouTube, and this one comes from History Book Reviews. He says, it's amazing how often I find myself, it's amazing how often I myself am off learning how to make bread when certain customers come into the store. I thought it was more of a regional thing, but I guess the gun store employees across the country do it. Yes, that is 100% true. Everyone who's ever worked retail in general knows that there's always that group of customers, right, that you label. And whenever they're in the store, you magically are on break or somewhere else, right? Hypo, I'm sure you have this situation happen from time to time. Are you ever out learning how to make bread?
I've got a problem with bread.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's boring.
What about like a brioche or something?
You know, I just had brioche buns, and
Yeah.
like Megan and I had a discussion the other night, and I said I don't like brioche.
Wow, okay.
But I do like soft brioche buns, like hamburger buns.
I too like soft buns. Yeah. Especially ones attached to little Asian bodies named Tofu.
Oof, those aren't brioche. What is an Asian bun actually?
What's that?
Is there like a particular bread specific to China?
Oh, god damn it, Tofu, where are you when we need you? Yes, there is. I just can't think of it. The name of it. I know Japan is like a bao roll, like bao buns and things like that.
You go to Chinese restaurants, ask for hamburgers.
Hangabers?
Hamburgers.
Funny thing is, if you go up to like if you're in Korea or Japan or something like that, and you say, "Hey, can I have a hangaber?" They know exactly what you're talking about,
Awesome.
or at least in my opinion. Citizen, go ahead.
Quick throwback here. So years ago, I used to play a game called Ultima. And I was playing Ultima 7, I believe it is, the Serpent Isle.
Real quick, before you get too deep into that, have you watched the new Netflix series High Score?
No.
Do it. There is they
Okay.
interview like one of the main parts, the RPG section, is the creator of Ultima. Continue on. Ultima 7.
Really?
Yep.
Oh shit.
Yeah, watch it. It's
have to
really
watch
good.
I remember spending a vast majority of my time in the city making bread, and that's all I did is just make bread.
Right? Capitalism at work.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that comment about making bread, I was just like, "Oh man."
You know, I
need to
can't
download that game
remember
again.
I can't remember where I picked that up from. So for those of you guys who don't know how we do those skits, like those skits obviously are very different from like the talking head videos. The talking head videos, they're scripted. It's up on a teleprompter. I've got it right here. You know, so it's like literally word for word off the script. Those skits are very, very different from the talking head videos in the studio here, where Ranger, N7X Ranger, writes the outline, and the way I tell him to do it is just write it out exactly, like describe it how you think it plays out in your head, and then we're gonna take that and we're gonna ad-lib it. I'm gonna give everybody the basic idea, and then we're just gonna hit record and go. So a lot of what you guys see in those skits is just us talking to each other. Like there's no script necessarily. It's just, okay, we have the general idea of how this should play out in the head. You know, starts with point A, moves to point B, C, D, E, F, G, you know, what have you. But everything in between is straight improv. And that's one of the reasons why I love these skits so much, is because you get to kind of see us at our best and worst. So with with that bread comment, I'm racking my brain trying to figure out where it was from, either a movie or a stand-up bit where he's just like, I'm just gonna go learn how to make bread. And that's it just popped into my brain right in the moment, and it ended up working out perfectly. Are we ready? Are we ready to move on to the next question?
Oh, yes, please.
Or the next top comment.
Good.
Okay. The next comment comes from Citizen Rico, and Citizen Rico says, I'm old. Was working for a gun store around 1980. Damn, you are old, dog. The guy came in and said he needed 4,000 rounds of 22 Magnum ammo to arm 100 IRS agents to invade Iran. No one's getting banned. That's just in reference to what this guy said. This is what I would have said. Nope. Just come on, holy crap. 4,000 rounds of 22 Magnum ammo to arm 100 IRS agents to invade Iran.
Okay, so 4,000 rounds sounds like a weekend to me.
Yeah.
First.
Why?
Sounds like a shooting range.
I mean, hey, you know what? That's 400 rounds. That's a combat load of 22 mag for IRS agents to invade Iran. What are they going after? Copyrighted bills? Or no, that's Secret Service.
Like one.
Are they investigating like American expats in Iran, which probably don't have a great survival chance to begin with anyways, in their former tax practices?
Talking 44 mag?
22 meg.
22 mag. Okay, wait.
I will reread the question. I'm old. Citizen Rico says, I'm old. I was working in a gun store around 1980. A guy came in, said he needed 4,000 rounds of Deuce 22 Magnum ammo to arm 100 IRS agents to invade Iran.
I just think you mentioned 22 and then you say IRS and I'm like,
either this guy gets the bit and he's playing like a super meta like Tundra joke on us, or this actually happened, folks. And wow, some of you out there need to take the tinfoil hat off for a little bit, and learn how to live real life. Carl K says, my name is Carl, and I'm building an 80% pistol to avoid registration, aka eventual conversation. Hilarious. That is fantastic, Carl. Depending on what state you live in, filling out a 4473 is not, just as education, is not the same as registration. Certain states will require you something like with like the FOID cards, or if you live in California or other states, will require you to physically register the gun. And if that go nuts, buddy, just make sure to follow your local laws and not break any of them. But yeah, just, you know, if you live in a state like Minnesota, or, you know, most of the places in the Midwest, say for Chicago, or Illinois in general, I believe, filling out a 4473 and like the NICS checks in general, it's not the same as registration. That's a common misconstruation. Is that a word? Misconstruation? Misconception?
their own like concordance of
hashtag vocab.
Yeah.
That was a double hashtag vocab. I think that's the first time that's ever been done.
A double. Shit. Bring to that.
So when you fill out a 4473, yes, the serial number is recorded. Yes, the type of firearm and the make and the model of the firearm is recorded. However, the issuing body retains that 4473. Now, the ATF can request a trace on that 4473, and the issuing body is responsible within 2 hours for pulling that 4473. However, that doesn't happen until you've committed a crime, or at least there's a case being built against you for committing a crime. It's not something that's just like randomly audited. And when you make the NICS call, or you submit that information to NICS, the serial number and the make and the model are not necessarily included in that. Actually, okay, let me think. When you had to, wait, hold on, that actually might be wrong. In the old days, when you had to call it in, it was just the type. So it was either handgun, long gun, or other.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, actually, nowadays with the E4473s, I don't know what information is actually sent in to the FBI during a NICS check. But my guess is that it's still the same information. It's handgun, long gun, or other. They will not know the serial number, and they will not know the make and model of the firearm.
They should not be able to have that. I believe there's the shop that you purchase at has that information on file.
Yes, for 20 years. No, for 20 years.
20 years.
20 years they are required to maintain that record.
The FBI holds on to their information for 30 days and should remove it after the fact.
So the way that works is that request. So a lot of gun shops have a rule saying if there is a no resolution, like when you do that NICS check, you either get a proceed, deny, or delay. One of 3 options. So if it's a proceed, you walk out of the store with the gun that day, depending once again on local laws. If it's a deny, obviously you are barred from purchasing that firearm, period. Chances are you'll never be able to purchase a firearm again unless you work it out with the FBI and NICS. And if it's a delay, if there's a no resolution within 72 business hours, so 3 business days, not 72 hours, but 3 business days, a lot of places will issue you that gun. They're legally allowed to issue you that gun under a NICS no resolution. However, there are certain places like my former employer of Cabela's where they will not issue you that gun until they get you a resolution. So bear in mind that if you're purchasing firearms from Cabela's and Bass Pro, if there's a no resolution, they're not going to release that firearm to you until they get a resolution, and that's shitty. It sucks, but it's them covering their ass, which is understandable from a kind of a big picture corporate perspective. I get it. It still sucks, but where you're thinking is that 4473, that request for a resolution, a proceed, deny, or delay, expires after 30 days, and then you have to fill out a new one.
Okay.
So that's what you're thinking of. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's the
Fair enough.
Me.
So Carl, solid P80, great option. Just once again, make sure to follow local laws and all that stuff. Let's see. Failure to Flinch says sketch comedy, not so much. And you know what? Hey, we're not perfect. We're just giving our own take. The great news, Failure, is a lot more people like it than dislike it. So that tells me we're doing something right. However, I think the gem in this comment comes from Noob Crastinator, says, I think they're too funny as well. I was also saying that this is too much as I was grabbing my sides. I hope you recovered as quickly as I did. Noob, way to take the moral high ground. That is a true example of what we want the average member of the Tundra Nation to be like. Didn't attack the guy. Didn't come after him, right? He made him feel like a dummy by being nice to him. What a guy. Noob Crastinator.
Kind of like, Carnage's comment. I'm trying to find it right now. You know the one I'm talking about.
Not off the top of my head.
I'm getting there.
Okay. I'll move on to the next one. It says, none ya business. Oh, God. Yes. All right. So, God, okay. So I didn't actually see this. I'm wondering if this guy actually gets the bit or if he's being serious. So, based on his original comment, I don't think that he gets the bit. And the original comment says, just remember, all caps, any human wannabe gun control scribbles on a piece of paper. Hold on. It says, just remember, any human wannabe gun control scribbles on a piece of paper, they try and push it as a law, is unconstitutional. So quit abiding. We the people are not owned by any human being, period. Yes, that includes background checks and straw purchases. I respond with, okay, Carl, essentially calling him Conspiracy Carl. And he says, okay, sheeple. So does he get the bit or does he not get the bit? Because usually, like, when I say okay, sheeple, I'm like, it's a silly comment. Like, I'm not actually calling people sheep. I'm using it as a So I'm wondering, is he saying this ironically or unironically? Because if it's unironic, this guy is absolutely conspiracy Carl.
Don't think he gets it. I think he is Carl.
Okay, so you think he's still Carl?
Not the hamster Carl. Yeah,
The hamster Carl's cool as
I
fuck.
found the
By the way.
comment.
Okay, so
He's the king.
So I'm thinking this guy probably doesn't get the bit, and fired the shot back. Hey, Nunya, take off the tinfoil hat, dude. Okay, just take it off and understand that while I would love to be able to just go out to a store and buy a machine gun and a suppressor or short-barreled rifle or a handgun or a rifle, it's just not the way the world works. And we have to abide. We do have to abide because it's the law. We might not agree with the law, and we have a moral and ethical obligation to stand in opposition, but we have to do it respectfully. And we have to do it in a way that shines the best light on our community, saying, you know what? We need to gather support, and taking a conspiratorial #vocab approach to this is just not the way to go, bud. So if you don't want to take the tinfoil hat off, go put your head in a fucking microwave, and nobody likes you.
#Sylvia Plath 2020.
All right, find you go ahead with your comment of the week here.
So the comment was made, really, Hollow Sun, it's better than shelling out more money for a sick Romeo that's made by who? ?
Oh,
That's
God.
right. Hollow Sun. Well, maybe already low standards for you guys just got lower. Not the Hollow Sun, but the fact that out of all the off my screen is the best budget red dot on the market ? Hey, next time you should do a what your AR mag says about you, but don't forget to include Tapco. And Carnage says, we're so glad you enjoyed the video! ! Please make sure to hit and like and subscribe button. We can't do it without you.
Well done, Carnage. Well done.
Amazing.
That is the definition of the Tundra fan right there. The good Tundra fan, the fan that we want to cultivate and absorb into the community is that person who just wants to piss everybody off, but they want to do it in the nicest way possible. Kill them with kindness, boys and girl. Kill them with kindness. And that concludes this week's bit for top comments of the week. We will now proceed into. Are you wearing an eye patch? It looks like you're wearing an eye patch. The shadow that. Yar, matey. Do you have an eye patch on ya? It definitely does. Now it doesn't. Now it just looks like you are being extremely aggressive and scary. You probably sound like this when you talk.
Get fucked, nerd.
So let's go into. I love, this is the best part. I love how we haven't done this sponsor spot in forever, but nobody's deleted it. It says, Tyler, don't forget to do the spot for Airborne. I know you guys can't see that. Here, I'll show it to you. So this is what I have for top comments of the week. And so Hypo and a couple of other people put all this stuff together, and then they try to put stuff on there that'll help me not forget to do things. We haven't had this in months, so I'm just gonna delete it now because nobody else is going to. Ask Tundra Nation is this segment of the week where you guys, the fans, get to ask your questions live here on the air and get them answered live here on the air. That should be pretty self-explanatory, I suppose, but I said it anyways. If you do want to participate in Ask Tundra Nation, you do have to be a member of the Discord. We do not take live questions in the chat because it is just too much for me to monitor and look at. However, there are certain situations and certain weeks where if I feel froggy enough, I may just do so. The point being, join the Discord as soon as humanly possible, because not only is it a good time, but you will get your question answered live on the air if you participate in Ask Tundra Nation, and I encourage you to do so. Hypo, do you encourage them to do so?
No, I don't encourage anything.
God damn it, Hypo, you're supposed to be on my side.
I'm so sorry.
Fuck. Anyways, who's Anonymous Wombat? Is that you?
I think it might be me. No, it's you.
It ain't
I'm
me.
Anonymous Koala.
No, it ain't me. It
Oh,
might
you're
be.
Anonymous Koala. I'm Wombat.
How am I anonymous wombat? Koala.
That's
No,
awesome.
I am anonymous wombat, but I'm not typing. Okay, whatever. This is wild.
Are you logged into the document?
I am. Yeah.
I am too. Why
Weird.
is it giving us random weird, like Australian animals?
Who knows? The first question of the night comes from N7X Ranger, and N7X Ranger would like to know, what kind of items do I need to buy before the election heats up? I'm already considering some AR-15 lowers and making legal out-of-state trips to purchase quote-unquote high-capacity magazines. N7X Ranger. The type of stuff that you should be stocking up on before the election, because let's be honest, in once again, only personal opinion, I don't think Trump's going to make it through this one, and I think that we will find ourselves under blue control once again, which it is what it is, I suppose. that's the way America's trending. Anything that's on the chopping block, man, pick it up and get yourself a stockpile of it, whether it be ammunition, magazines, particular types of firearms. I know that we were discussing the old school Scorpion, the 32 ACP one, the old Czech one. You were concerned that so background on N7X Ranger is he loves Czech guns. He loves Czechoslovakian or Czech Republic guns. And one of the guns that is potentially on that chopping block for being considered an assault rifle or assault pistol would be the VZ61?
Yeah, I think so. 61.
The old school Scorpion. So yeah, pick the stuff up that you want to pick up. Ranger, you have the luxury of having a wickedly cool job and can pretty much reasonably afford to grab whatever you want whenever you want it, given the circumstances are working in your favor. So my focus during this time is going to be what I need to keep my guns fed, and that's ammunition. I'm the type of person that doesn't really want to own 1,000 guns. I want to own 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guns and have the requisite ammunition to use them without guilt whenever I want to. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. Magazines are definitely going to be one of those things that will be of hot topic. Not the store, but political discussion.
God damn it! Well, there goes my mesh shirt.
Yeah, right. Let's take a vote in chat right now. Next stream, should Hypo wear his mesh shirt? Because he will. So things like magazines and ammunition are going to be the stuff that I'm focusing on. I'm not going to be the guy that's going out there panic buying firearms, or maybe not even panic buying. That's not the right word, but just buying guns in preparation for. I'm going to be the guy that's going out there and buying the stuff to keep the guns that I currently have up and running. You also might want to look on like the fringes of legislation, things like plate carriers, body armor. Not in the limelight, but definitely on the chopping block if the people that we disagree with have their way. So stuff like that would be ultimately where I'm focusing my time, effort, and money on. I'm very happy to announce, I think I showed this off last week, but I do have the carrier, the new Shellback Tactical Banshee 3.0. Thank you, Shellback, for getting it out to me quite quickly, and thank you, Dr. Nikki, for placing the order. I'm also happy to announce, actually, that my plates shipped today. They said 4 to 12 weeks, and it was like a week and a half.
You got a hell of a deal on those too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't say a hell of a deal. I'd say pretty decently priced, average priced. $169 for level 4 ceramic plates from Safe Life.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you go level 4 over 3+ specifically, or did you just do it for...
well, I mean...
Was there a reasoning?
Yeah, there definitely was. I mean, more is better, right?
Sure.
Like with armor.
Sure.
For those of you guys who don't know, I believe level 4 is rated for OT6 black tip, single impact.
Is it? Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the maximum rating for level 4 is 30-06 black tip, or the AP 30-06 round, where 3+ will be 993, or no, whatever the god damn it, too much whiskey. Whatever the AP round for 5.5, or no, it'll be 308. The AP round for 308. Yep, will be the maximum, and then it's rated to withstand multiple hits of the AP 5.56 round, I believe. I've drank a lot, so yeah, I did consciously choose level 4 because here's like my experience with researching armor when I was level 4 is not that much more expensive. It's like $30 a plate more expensive than 3+. So why not? It's an extra $60 for 2 plates, and it gets you the maximum available protection. And from everything that I've seen from Safelight, and everything that Curtis, somebody that we know and trust in terms of his opinion, Safelight is...
Yeah, well, he did get kicked by Chuck Liddell. You have to trust him.
Yeah. I mean, Chuck's not really packing Chuck's not really packing an 06 black tip in his boot, but he did get kicked by Chuck Liddell while wearing a Safelight vest, and while we did hear a significant come out of his chest, he did walk away from the experience, which is more than some people can say.
Evacuation of air. So the bigger question is then, Tyler, why did I go 3+?
Because that's what you wanted. And
so yeah, especially 14 by 11.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have the weird.
Yeah.
Because I have the 12 by 10 or whatever the standard size is. So anyways, let's move on to the next one. Next one comes from Tiberius, good old buddy here. He says, I spent $100 on 3 shield arms 15 round magazines for my Glock 43X, even though... Didn't we already answer this one? I might have already answered this one, but we'll go with it again.
Maybe?
I spent $120 on 3 shield arms 15 round magazines for my Glock 43X, even though 3 factory 10 round mags can be had for $60. What's the most amount of money you spent on firearms accessories that are offered only at a that offered only a marginal improvement over similar factory accessories just because you really wanted it? I'm trying to think, because honestly, like I wouldn't like normally I wouldn't. Like, I own meme guns, like the High Point. Well, I don't own the High Point. It was loaned to me long term by the guy who lives downstairs. But like, I've owned meme stuff in the past. I can't tell you that, like, I can't tell you of anything that I currently own that is like significantly more expensive over OEM stuff, but I can tell you things that I would like to own that are significantly expensive but don't really provide any like real benefit. And one of the things that I would really love to get my hands on, like at least 1 or 2 of, is the Swiss enclosed stripper clips for my K11.
Okay.
And I
forgot you had that.
I know, shit. Dude. Isn't God? You know, I was playing with it the other day, and it's the sweetest fucking thing. That's what she said. No, I don't care if that's what she said. I fucking love that gun. If you don't own a Swiss 1911, K11, or K31, it needs to move to the top of your list now. You will thank me later. It's unbelievable. But the problem with those stripper clips is the stripper clips alone are like $50 a piece. They provide no practical value for me to the gun, because like if I'm sitting on the range, okay, that's not the gun I'm taking to Minneapolis when shit kicks off.
That's your B word gun. You're just gonna show up with that slung
right before I yeet somebody out. Just like, bitch, you thirsty? Oh.
Oh my god, I cannot wait for people to show up at rallies.
To shart at rallies, huh? You're right.
Shart at rallies.
Yeah, shart at rallies. I'm pretty sure.
Carrying a Swiss gun.
I'm pretty sure, closed circuit to Ben out there. If you ever watch this show, I'm pretty sure you've already sharted at a rally. So, yeah, I can't really think that, like, I can't really think of anything that I've bought that's been ridiculously expensive but only offered a marginal improvement, because I just, like, that's not me. That's not what I would do.
I can.
And your response would be
easily Lancer. One word.
Yep. You know, interestingly enough, Lancer mags aren't that expensive anymore.
They're not. They're like $18. What
Yeah.
PMags are like 15 something if you get them good deal.
Yeah, like because I know Lancer mags are better. Like I understand that there's
that metal feed lip is awesome.
But I was never willing to pay like the $20 to $22 or like $23 when you could get, you know, in normal times when you could get a hex mag or a P mag that really just did work pretty much just as good for what, $12-13 in normal times. So I know what
in the
back in the day.
Not back in the day, but the Mad Max Thunderdome. When
Oh yeah,
the time before times. Or
the time before. Hold on. The time. Oh, hold on. The time before times.
Welcome back to Tundra Tactical ASMR.
Yeah, right. You know, interestingly enough, that's still like one of the top ranked like search tags. It's like ASMR gun cleaning. I've got to find a way to incorporate that into the channel. All right, next question comes from N7X Ranger as well. He says, if you were a space bounty hunter, what would you carry on the job? So I have to clarify with you, Ranger. Are like, what are we talking? Are we talking like IRL guns? Like, what would I carry on the job?
Ideal space bounty hunter.
Fork.
Cowboy Bebop. Not fork. Why do you have the fork again?
I don't know. Did I have a fork in the past? I don't remember this.
With the fork? You have. You're like, I'm pointing with a fork, and I want anybody in the chat to find that. It was during a live stream. You're like, I'm pointing with a fork, and I don't know why.
Fair enough.
Anyway, back to the question. I just bought the ultimate space bounty hunter pistol.
Uh-oh.
The Jericho 941.
Oh God.
Which was if you're a weeb like I am, you know that Cowboy Bebop uses that firearm, and he is kind of a bounty hunter.
There you go.
Maybe he's more like a mystery solver, like the Scooby-Doo of space, but.
All right, next question will come from, this is a new one. This is from Trenched Gears, and Trenched Gears would like to know, hey, Tundra Nation, new member, but I really appreciate what you all do. Thanks, buddy. Looking at getting this Howa 6.5 Grendel mini action where I work. What are you guys' thoughts on 6.5 Grendel? So me being a 224 Valkyrie fan, obviously I have to be morally and ethically opposed to 6.5 Grendel. I'm just kidding. You know, Grendel's an awesome round. It's a fucking awesome round. And one of the cool things, I think this was a Patreon and Discord exclusive that we posted a while ago. And Trench Gears, if you do end up watching this and you want me to, I'll repost this. But we did kind of a showdown. Eric, right before he deployed, had just completed a build on a budget, like a $900 gas gun, chambered, or $900 AR chambered in 6.5 Grendel, and he wanted to take it up against my like $4,000 Valk and see how it performed. And to be perfectly honest with you, it performed really, really good. Like, we got multiple impacts. I think we did 15 rounds apiece. And it got multiple impacts at 1,000 yards with relatively like minimal zeroing in practice. It was just kind of like, all right, fucking send it, bud. And you know, once he got on target, he was really good on target with that thing. And being the fact that it was a super budget build versus a really expensive build, it kind of made me feel bad. But the good news is I didn't have to pay for that gun because Airborne Arms is the best in the world, and I love them long time. You heard me, Ryan and Cheryl. We love you long time. Also,
don't forget the Airborne Arms sponsorship.
Yeah, right. They don't pay me to do that anymore, but I'd still do it. Airborne Arms, still my favorite gun company out there. Yeah, the simple answer is Grendel is out fucking standing for what it is, and if you put it in the right platform with the right barrel length, the right twist rate, and things that are, you know, going to give you the most success for that round. You know, you have to be like with a PRS gun or like a long range gun, you got to be a little bit more selective in the things that you're not used to looking at. You know, if like Typo, if you and I are going out looking for an AR, you know, how often are we looking at twist rate? How often are we looking at barrel length? We're just saying, oh,
Like-
that's a knight's armament, or oh, that's a DPMS. Oh God. Or oh, that's a Ruger AR-556, or oh,
Most
you know,
of the time we're expecting like 110. We're just looking for that, you know,
Yeah.
just as standard stock.
Mhm.
It's a barrel. Okay, it'll do.
it'll do, right? Because it's so standardized. Everything is pretty much built to a mil spec. But when you get into those specialty guns, or the specialty calibers specifically, you do have to start paying a little bit more attention to the things that you wouldn't normally pay attention to: barrel length, twist rate, you know, stuff like that. And that is what's going to affect your experience with a Grendel. So Howa is, you know, they're a Japanese budget build. Kind of not like a ripoff or a replication of a Remington 700 action, but that's what they're trying to compete with. So I don't have anything necessarily against Howa. I don't think they're the greatest things out there necessarily, but for a lot of people, they're right in that budget range to get them into a precision bolt gun, and they do serve the purpose. The round is fantastic. The gun is adequate. So I would say go nuts and fucking full send, bud. What do you got?
I got nothing else really.
All right, next question comes from, wow, I haven't seen this name in a while. Jay Mizzlebot says,
Oof.
why haven't we found and eliminated the number one threat to our armed forces, Jody? Oh, that's from Ranger, excuse me.
Ranger. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, agreed. Jody is a theoretical, and would require us to eliminate a lot of people. So yeah, that's probably why. Murder ain't cool, bud. Even if it's somewhat ethically and morally justifiable. Ethically, maybe not morally, or would it be the other way around? I don't know. I've been drinking a lot. Next one comes from how much bike inner tube is appropriate for grippy surfaces on a rifle? Oh God.
Oh
Hypo,
man.
care to field this one?
I mean, like all the inner tube.
My answer is yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. How much bike inner tube is appropriate for grippy surfaces on a rifle? Yes. All right, Mario Mechanic Molina, good old boy of the Tundra Nation. Man, Mario has been around for a minute or two, hasn't he? Just a good guy. He says, if all of the Tundra Nation got together for range day, would it be another sausage fest? 100% it would be. There's a particular reason why I say lady and gentleman, because I'm pretty sure Megan is the only. Oh, we got two.
We have another one. Yeah. We've got another who's active in the Discord as well.
Oh, okay. News to me, but we had one that was active.
Well, yeah. Sorry, Pookie.
Yeah.
We got rid of her.
All right. So yeah, it would absolutely be another sausage fest. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, last year, at this point, I guess last year was the inaugural Tundra Tactical fan meetup, or the Tundra Tactical range day. No, fan meetup. And it was a ton of fun.
Fan range day.
Fan day range meet day up.
Fan day rage off.
Fan rage off.
Sausage.
Fan rage off sausage.
Yes, rage off.
Fan rage off. That's what we're calling it from now on. The Tundra Tactical fan rage off.
Oh my god.
Ranger, write that down. Yeah, so we did. We ended up doing that. We had like 50 people show up, and it was a ton of fun. We had a couple of machine guns there. It was held at a local range here in Minnesota, one that I currently work for at the time. We had it catered by like a fucking really good chef, and it was awesome. But unfortunately, due to the whole COVID thing, I can't find a place that's willing to sponsor a significant number of people, because I got to imagine that if we had 50 people last year, we're going to have probably, 75 people this year, and no place is willing to put that many people close together, especially with the laws in place here in Minnesota right now, courtesy of our governor. So unfortunately, that has been indefinitely postponed until things calm down. But at some point in time, there will be a Tundra Rage Off. What is that? What I said? Rage Off?
Rage off, yeah.
Yeah.
Although
A
I
ton-
like
a ton-
meet up with an EA.
A meetup, MEAT. Yeah, that's actually pretty good too. Oh god, man! Ever since I went swimming in this fucking lake, I've just been super itchy. I wonder if I had like an allergic reaction to something in there. All right, what is your favorite AK variant? I think we discussed this a little bit earlier. It would be a 74 of some kind. I don't know enough about AKs to get specific. Like to me, a Polish AK versus a Romanian AK, like a Romy G or something like that.
I'm a really big fan of the Armalite 10.
I will say this actually. That AK-20 that we saw at SHOT this year from Arsenal.
Oh my god, dude, that thing was awesome.
It was really, really cool. Now I understand it's like a $2,500 AK, but that would probably be my top pick, followed very closely by the hypothetical AK-50.
I like how you said hypothetical.
Yeah, it was a shot.
Yeah. That falls into the space guns question, right?
Yes.
Like if you're gonna be a bounty hunter in space, AK-50.
We did skip a question here. I apologize about that. And this comes from somebody who's no longer here, Field Marshal Wolf, and he would like to know what kind of rules of engagement are we going to follow for boog time? Oh God, no fire unless fired upon, barring ambushes, or fire at anything remotely fed boys. So here's my official response to that question. It's going to be the same as what we were talking about earlier. You shoot defensively. This isn't like we're not in the military. We're civilians. We shoot defensively. We shoot when we need to shoot, when it's the last fucking option available to us. Even in a situation like that where shit has hit the fan, I'm not actively going out and setting up fucking ambushes for people that I think are bad guys, because like, who am I to determine who lives and who dies? Like, it's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to keep the people that I love and care about safe. If you threaten that in this specific scenario, not saying this is what I do in like real, well, actually, I don't know. But if you threaten that, then we got problems. I'm going to do my best to disengage from that situation. I'm going to do my best to de-escalate that situation. But if you bring it to the point where I got to use deadly force, I am not afraid to do so.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be my first option.
No, my first option is going to be...
My first option is be like, later, bye. If this ever gets used in court, please, my defense attorney, watch this part where I say, it's
right
not
here.
my first option. It's not my first option. Okay, I'm saying this multiple times for legal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
That was a joke. Well, not that was a joke, but you get the point. Yeah, like even in that type of situation, like ROE, okay, ROE, rules of engagement, is something that the military defines in a combat zone. In the Boog, there is no ROE. In a situation where there is no rule of law, that is the definition of literal no ROE. You get to do what you want. It's up to you to act responsibly, or act in what you believe to be the best way to preserve the life of yourself and the people that you care about. And that can take a vastly different meaning for people based on their situation. Once again, looking back at the Wisconsin things, we have the benefit of hindsight. We can criticize, we can be critical in the effort to make ourselves better defensive-minded people. But in the moment, it's a bit of a different story. So, in terms of the Fed boys, yeah, we should probably make it well known that they shouldn't mess with us. But in that particular situation, now don't get me wrong, like, if law enforcement comes to my house and they say, hey, we're gonna do this, like, I ain't gonna fucking stop them. Like, God damn it, if you're coming in my house, I'm starting to shoot. Like, nope, come on in. I'll file complaints later on. I don't know if they're gonna do anything or not, but man, I like breathing. So, be that a problem with the law enforcement system or the legal system or what have you, I just ain't willing to lose my life over something that I don't necessarily have to lose my life over. and then I can continue on protesting and filing complaints to, damn it, further my opinion. We'll move on to the next question, and that comes from Dickum Down, another name I haven't heard from for a little while. And this comes from, what should I buy next? A SIG MCX Virtus, or B, a POF 416 Edge. I'm actually not familiar with the POF 416 Edge. Let me look that one up here real quick, because this is a Tundra stream, and it wouldn't be a Tundra stream if there wasn't a big delay in me answering this question. Let's look at some images. So it looks like, okay. I don't know, man. I mean, it looks to me like they're both very, very similar guns. I haven't looked at an MCX in a long time, but to the best of my knowledge, all right, let's look up an MCX here. I'll be honest, at least just from like the general looks perspective, I prefer the POF, because it looks to me like the SIG it's a little bit more inflexible in terms of handguard length and in terms of its M-lock. But I know that it's a good gun because I've shot the MCXs many times, and I really, really do like them. I think they're fantastic guns. But it does look like the POF might be, it might have like a higher height over bore, it looks like, but see, for me, I make a decision on fire, like when it comes down to something like this, like that are like close to best in class or very close to best in class, and there's two somewhat indiscriminate decisions, or two somewhat indiscriminate options for that decision to be made. I usually base it on the looks, and I'll be honest, I kind of like that POF, the look of that POF a little bit better than I like the MCX. Man, yeah, this is not bad. Like, this is, I mean, it's spendy, but this is what we're looking at here. I like the rail setup. I like the handguard setup. I like the rail setup. I like the fact that it's got the brake on it. The height over bore is the big thing that I'm concerned about with this gun, but I don't know if that's mil spec or not, just based off of the looks. So yeah, I don't know.
They are very similar though.
They are, but I just like
Vitrus is very, very close.
That's kind of what I'm saying is I think I might prefer the look of this.
I would probably go with the SIG.
You think so? Why?
I would name a performance like history.
Well, I mean, POF ain't no slouch.
No, they're not, but I think SIG's got an edge in terms of like its embedded nature into military factions throughout the world. I'll argue that fact slightly. Like I can't really argue that from a modernistic standpoint, but SIG has been a relative recent entry into the AR world, over the last like 4 or 5 years. True.
They've had a great history with their handguns in terms of military service and combat firearms and things like that. While POF has been doing ARs for a long time.
They have, but also you have to think in terms of like MP5. Oh no, I'm thinking HK.
Yeah, but like even if like now we're talking about subguns, not ARs.
We're subgun though, yeah.
So I'm specifically referencing like the comparison between these two things, and I think that it's probably, like, for me personally, it's probably going to boil down to the looks of the gun. The big thing that I like on the POF that I don't know if the Virtus has, Vitrus, what is it?
Vitrus?
Virtus?
I think it's Vitrus. It's okay. Latin. It's some ominous Latin noun.
I like the anti-walk pins on the POF.
That is nice.
I really do like that feature, and now that I've had that on a gun, like, I don't really not want to have it. It doesn't seem like something that you.
It's pretty, but it's easily changed.
It is
Like,
easily
walk pins
changed.
or something you can get on like anywhere.
True, but why not have to not worry about it?
I'm a fiddler.
Oh, sure, and that's your thing. My thing is, I want to buy the gun out of the box and make it as good as, have it be as good as humanly possible. If I'm gonna fiddle with it, it's gonna be for cosmetic design, usually, with the exception of the rifle that Bryce built. But yeah, that is my answer to that question. I'm probably gonna end up going with the POF 415 Edge. Next one comes, and this is going to be our last one because we're 20 minutes over time. Next one comes from my dude, and he says, is there any way to make an underfolder stock good? Well, I mean, here's the real question. Do you like chin weld or do you like cheek weld? If you like chin weld, then it's all good, buddy. If you're a normal person and you like cheek weld, dude, I don't see a way that an underfolder can be good. The only way the underfolder is good is if you're in the Afghan or shitter stance. Afghani, not Afghaner. Afghani shitter stance. And and you're shooting over fucking, like, mud brick wall down into a fucking, oh god, I'm blanking on the fucking term. Not a wobby. Wadi. There we go. You're shooting down into a wadi, like over a wall. I think that's the only thing that it's good for, man. Come on. An underfolder stocks are conscript guns. They're okay. Your life has literally no meaningful value, but we need you to send lead at the enemy. So here, have this. It's the modern Mosin. It's the modern Mosin. In fact, well, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say I'd be willing to take a Mosin over an underfolder AK in real life, but it's like the modern Mosin. It's just like, you're worthless, take this. I don't know, you got anything else to say?
I just go back to range shitter.
Fair enough. All right, guys, I think that is where we're gonna end it for tonight. This has been an absolute show of a night, and I haven't done it all night. I finally got him. He was thinking he was gonna get away with it. But I got him at the end there. Total sneak attack. Thank you guys for tuning in to this, the 12th episode. Hey, get hypo. Come on. Back in the show. I know it was a bit of a different show for you guys, and I know we discussed some kind of hot button topics, but I needed to get that off my chest. I've been sitting here for the last week. When I was up north on vacation, I was researching into all that, and I wanted to get what I had to say out there. For better or worse, in reality, as much as I love you guys, I don't give two shits what you think about me. And I think that is the reason why you're here. I think a lot of you guys respect that type of opinion and probably hold that to yourself as well. You don't care what the world thinks about you. You just want your opinion to be known. And you know what? That's your right. That's what you get to do for living in a relatively free country. But at the same point in time, Hypo, you and I, we have a bit of an influence in terms of what we say, and I think that the fans deserve to know what we feel on the subject. And I know that you and I think pretty similarly in a lot of these types of situations. So yeah. I'm happy that we were able to get our opinion out there, regardless of what you think about it. I appreciate the fact that you guys were all able to keep it civil here. I thank you guys so very much. The Tundra Nation is the nation that I love. It is the group of people that I love, and you guys proved that tonight by keeping it civil and open-minded, teaching me a couple of things, helping me to learn some stuff about a situation that I didn't know obviously everything about. And that is what we should be using our community for, is to make ourselves better through education, through training, through real world and practical experience being taught as knowledge. And so that is what I'm going to encourage you guys to do this week. This week is going to be a pretty divisive week regarding this Kenosha stuff and what comes out of it. So as this time goes on, my challenge to you guys is to avoid the reaction. And sit back and watch and learn. Ask a question. Don't render an opinion. Ask a question. And make yourself better for it. That is my challenge for you guys. That is what the Tundra Nation needs to do. And by extension, set the example for the rest of the gun community. Thank you guys so very much for being out fucking standing, and we will see you guys next week, Hypo finish it off. When?
We still don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Tundra Nation, mwah, we love you. This last toast goes out to our good friends. Cheers, everybody.